Welcome, everyone, to the League of Cinephiles. Welcome to Guy and Helmer, unfiltered, but as always, a bit filtered. With me is my co-host, as always, now on the top right, not the bottom, the great Guy Noel. Guy, how are you doing?
Problem with that. It's part of my contract. I'm great, Alex, and with us today is the great Big J from Oniolo. Give it up.
How are you doing, guys?
His third time on the show.
Invite.
He's an unfiltered veteran. Third
Pretty
time.
much,
He's appeared 2 times in, our previous episodes, but now he's back. Oniolo, how are you doing in this new year? How's it been so far for you, for your page, for everything?
Yeah, it's been great. There's not a lot of movies out where I'm from. So as you guys know, I'm in Portugal. So all the movies that are coming out in the cinema is the movies that came out like months ago for you guys.
Yeah.
So it's a bit slow, but there's some nice things out there. So
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, and a ton of guys we're going to talk to you guys about today. A ton of movie news. At the beginning of the week, I was talking to Guy, and we didn't even think, we were like, it's going to be a slow episode today or this weekend. There's not a lot to talk about, and then over the course of the week, we just got a ton of news, movie releases, TV, just a ton of stuff to talk about, rumors, all the way from that to, certified, established news. So a lot to you guys talk about on this Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon if you're in Latvia, like Luke here in the comments, or anybody. Have a great Sunday, guys. Hope you had a great week, and it's only going to get better now with some great movie news covered by the Unfiltered crew. Now, let's get started with our first movie release topic. We're going to talk about M3GAN, the first big release of 2023, the first one a lot of people have seen in the new year. Now, Oniolo, I know none of us have actually seen M3GAN, so maybe that's a bit unfortunate on our parts. But Oniolo, what did you think of the trailers going into M3GAN? Or you didn't see it, but what did you think of the trailers, and what did you anticipate the buzz for this movie? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited, especially because of all the reviews that are coming out. When I saw the trailer, I was a little bit on the fence. It reminded me a little bit of what they did with Child Play, with the whole AI, kind of bringing that haunted doll to the technology. But there was some things in the trailer that were really well filmed.
Yep.
And the doll itself, I saw the first time the trailer with my girlfriend. She's not very into movies, especially when it's stupid horror movies. And she was like, Jesus Christ, that doll is creepy as hell. So there was something there. And then with all the reviews that are coming out, I have to say I'm really excited. I'm watching it next week because it's coming out just on Thursday in Portugal, but I have like a press screening on Wednesday or something like that, and really excited to see it. And those numbers are crazy for a January horror movie.
Yeah, 94%. I remember I saw this movie, and I guess I didn't quite understand what the movie was going for. I didn't know that. I guess, again, I haven't seen it, but according to the reviews and the audience, it was campy. It was supposed to be a comedy, which is not something I anticipated when I saw those trailers. I thought it was going to go for more of a serious, not necessarily a completely serious, but horror, but apparently it kind of went all in on the camping, kind of the comedic, out there, stupid, elements of the idea. And it's good to see a January horror movie like this. It seems like every year, there's at least one in the last couple of years, at least, that have done well. I remember Scream. I know you weren't a huge fan of Scream, but Scream 5 came out last year. That was in January, and that was a big success amongst critics and audiences. So it seems like, every year now we can expect one good horror January release, which is always good to see.
And it's smart, if we think about it, it's smart because we all complain in January there's nothing to see. So if people put some nice movies out there, I think it's a great way to try and get some box office that a movie like this probably wouldn't get. And that is the thing. Like a movie like this, if it comes out against big blockbusters, probably would not get a lot of attention. So in January, I think it's very smart for these horror movies to start coming out. There's a lot of potential there to make some money.
Yeah, and what do you also think? You talked a bit about box office there. We've been talking very recently about, which movie we thought was going to unseat Avatar #1 in the box office. And a lot of people were saying, all the way in February for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. What are your thoughts on the news recently that M3GAN has unseated Avatar: The Way of Water as #1 in the box office, at least for just this weekend?
I don't think it will, to be honest.
Okay.
I think when the numbers come out, Avatar will still land on top.
Hmm.
I was seeing some news today that they're increasing some of the number of cinemas that are running Avatar because like people are still really interested in watching it. So, and to be honest, and like the box office also, when we're talking just of the money, Avatar has a lot of the IMAX and 3Ds and stuff like that. So you might have less people watching it, but I still, in terms of money, it will still pass it. I think Avatar will probably lose for M. Night Shyamalan, like when it comes out his movie, because
Hmm.
I can see a lot of buzz also around that. But I think it will still hold up, but it also depends on how well M3GAN does.
Yep. Yeah, and I haven't seen the movie. None of us have, but it's good to see always a movie
Yeah.
like this that nobody was expecting. No right to be 94% on Rotten Tomatoes to apparently be this good, which is always great to see.
After the
Now,
trailer with that dance, no one was expecting that.
yeah. No, I don't think anybody was, but apparently, it's always great to see. As we move on to our TV release
Oh, boy.
of the week, The Bad Batch season 2. We're gonna talk about this briefly, guys, because I know I'm gonna be honest, nobody watches The Bad Batch. Agnolo hasn't watched it. Me and Guy have because we talked about it
I
a
didn't
lot.
even watch both episodes. I only watched one.
Yeah, I put myself through both.
Limited effort was done.
So the first 2 episodes of season 2 dropped over the week.
Yeah.
Guy, you only saw the first episode, but first, what are your brief thoughts on season 1 of The Bad Batch, and what do you expect from season 2? And did you get that with episode 1?
Once again, this is unfiltered, but kind of filtered. But I'm just gonna say it right out the gate. Season 1 was a clusterfuck. That was terrible. It was such a bad show. It was like really bad. And they try to bring in characters you like to be like, to try to like bribe you and tease you. Like Captain Rex, Cad Bane. And
They
then
are
it's
back,
like,
Luke. They are back.
they are back. We're coming back with this. But then they'd fuck it up and they'd have that Omega person. And then they'd have that horrible team of characters that no one really wanted a show about. And then and it was just shit. And then this season came out, and Alex had to tell me that it came out. I didn't know that this even existed. I thought they canceled this because it was so bad. Alex tells me, so I have to watch it. I don't even watch it like a week in advance. I don't try to prep it. I watched it right before I got in the stream, guys. All right, I don't care. I don't care about the Bad Batch. All right, I don't care. That review right up there, look at that. You see that? That says average. That's obvious the critics were bribed there because the audience score is 78. All right. And the critic, usually it's the other way around because usually audiences are dumber than the critics. But now this time it seems as though the critics are dumber than the audience because for some reason the critics gave it 88. It's awful. And so season 2, I saw the first episode. It was just not special. It was just you sat there. Wanda Sykes was in it. Anyone notice that? Yeah, that little cameo. That little that was kind of cool. We had Wanda Sykes, DC comedy legend Wanda Sykes come in. But other than that, I was like, who fucking cares? It's my review.
Yeah, I don't think The Bad Batch is a bad show by any means. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's terrible. I think the animation's really good. I think the locations that they have, where they go, I think it has elements in it that could excel under different circumstances, story-wise and character-wise. I just think the characters are so boring in the show. There was just all kind of caricatures, and there's no complexity, there's no kind of wit. There's no, I don't know. There's not even childhood. There's not even like child wonder in it.
I don't even know
because Omega's like the main character.
Other
right?
than
So
Omega, I know that name because it's so fucking dumb. It's so easy.
It's like
to remember.
Crosshair is my favorite character. He wasn't in this episode.
Who's Crosshair?
Crosshair is the dude with the thing on his eye. The guy who defected.
I forgot about him. That's how bad this show is. I can't even remember.
But the first 2 episodes, again, it's like every and I have a problem with this across Star Wars media going to Mandalorian, where it's like every episode's a mission. It's almost like a video game story. It's not like a real build-up where it's almost like a anthology series, but every episode's on the same characters, and it's just really, really irritating not to have one big through line throughout the story, one main mission. And we're only 2 episodes in, so maybe we get that later on. But for me, in the first 2 episodes, we didn't get that. And again, I watched the season 3, the promo for the rest of season 2, and it looks promising, and I liked Guy first episode. They went to Count Dooku's castle that was pretty cool. They went to Count Dooku's castle to try to rob it. That's like an interesting concept. And I think that what they have going for them later with the politics of it all, I think you didn't see the end of episode 2. The end of episode 2 was really cool. There was a thing with an Imperial guy. I'll spoil it real quickly. An Imperial dude shoots the clone trooper over this political thing that I won't get into now.
Oh, no.
But, okay, well, the way I'm describing it isn't very good, but it's actually really interesting.
He shot the most expendable thing in the fucking franchise? Egad. Such a shock.
All right. Well, anyways, that's the Bad Batch. Agnolo, are you going to watch season 2?
No, like unlike you guys, I watched the first episodes of season 1 and I hated it. It's my problem with these shows of Star Wars is exactly what you said now. Oh, they went and robbed the castle of Count Dooku. Okay, so there's like a fucking universe, the size of a universe, and if they have to rob a castle, you have to go to the castle of someone that's known. It's like they all like know each other. It's like this big universe, and it's always the same characters, always the same stories. And I just think they should do something with Star Wars that's completely unique.
Is there any projects in particular that you're excited for with Star Wars?
Like all of the things that I get excited, they end up being canceled. Is all the announcements of like directors that I think could make something interesting with it, and it just gets canceled. And they just keep announcing. I just think they should keep their mouth shut until they have something that it's being made, because they keep announcing stuff and they keep getting canceled. But if I have to pick something, I think this still the best thing out of Star Wars recently is The Mandalorian. I think that's like the one for me that's working, and that I hope he gets more attention. Even those anthology, the animated ones that could be really cool. There's ones that are really
Tales of the Jedi, I thought was great actually.
Yeah, there's some that are really high in quality that I loved, but then there's some that I just think, my God, they really had to make up the number of episodes because they don't deserve to be here. So it's hit and miss with me.
What I loved was like, we're going to Count Dooku's castle. And you know what made that really fucking dumb? I'm sorry. We're going to Count Dooku's castle. Count Dooku's dead. So like, why you don't even get to see Count Dooku?
No. That's not the point. That's an illogical point of view.
I know what you're saying because he's dead, and it's
the point. They're trying to rob his. I think that's an interesting idea.
It's so stupid. It's like leave these characters alone. Stop name dropping.
It's like right after the Clone Wars.
Stop name dropping.
He's like, oh my, it's so crazy. Count Dooku was like, it's almost like if, I don't know, Putin, like Count Dooku is the Putin of Star Wars. It's almost if Putin dies, and you'd expect people to talk about Putin like, I don't know, 2 months after he dies. Like, are you crazy? Like, you don't expect people to talk about that?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And he is a big character in the Star Wars universe.
He was literally the leader of the Separatists.
Yeah, but
like, he's a pretty big character. I'm a big Count Dooku fan. I'm a big Count Dooku fan. As I can tell.
We can all tell.
Yeah, we can all tell.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how much you like him.
Speaking of Count Dooku, Tales of the Jedi.
Such a big Star Wars character, and you like.
Well, you obviously haven't seen Tales of the Jedi. Okay. All right, let's move on now.
No, I haven't because I don't.
No more
care.
Star Wars.
I don't care.
All right, guys, we're gonna now move on to. We talked about our big releases. Bad Batch is pretty big, guys. Wouldn't you agree? No, not really.
No.
Okay.
it's still a Star Wars.
It's okay. It's okay. Next week you get The Last of Us. It's okay. We're just prepping for that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And now we're gonna move on to our big topics, guys. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new to get more unfiltered content like this, and also follow us on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
like this, a bunch of clips from previous, league matches as well as unfiltered. So follow us on TikTok there, Instagram, all that jazz. As we move on to our first main topic, guys, we have a bunch to talk about main topic wise. First, we're going to talk about Agnolo. I'm going to go to you first. Aaron Taylor Johnson, new James Bond frontrunner after a genuine report. Yes, I must clarify, this report is not bogus. A new report confirms that Aaron Taylor Johnson is in the running to play James Bond following a meeting with the Bond producer. And then a new report confirms, obviously, that he is in the running and that he met with the producer to discuss the role and that there is some truth to the report. Agnolo, your thoughts?
I don't think it's a bad pick, to be honest. I think he's a good actor. I think he could fit the role. My only thing now is Yev's Craven coming out this year, and I think if that movie is as bad as Morbius, I think his chances are going to be blown out of the
Sure.
water. I think that can hurt him, and he probably is regretting a little bit now taking on this movie Craven, because like it's coming out this year and no one knows what is going to be. There's nothing, no reports, nothing that
Sure.
can make us have a little bit more confidence. So I think he might be the front runner now. But if I was also the producers of James Bond, I would probably want to see what would be the reactions to Craven and how people are going to react, and that can hurt his chances. But I think he's a good actor. I loved him in the train one. I can remember
Bullet
now.
Train?
Bullet Train. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really funny. He can do the action. He can do the fighting. He can like put on that sexy secret agent thing. So I don't think he's a bad pick. Probably wouldn't be my pick, but I think he could do a good job with it.
And Guy, Aaron Taylor Johnson would also be the first Jewish James Bond.
Oh,
your thoughts?
I didn't know he was a Jew. That's kind of cool. No, yeah, I was originally like, fuck him, but now that you told me that, I'm like, welcome. Like, hey. No, I mean, I think that's awesome. I didn't know that. My thing like on Yellow is like Craven. I already have a problem with him playing Craven just because it's like he was Quicksilver, and I'm not gonna get into that shit. But like, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good choice. I don't really know much about him, to be honest. But like, he should keep his mustache. No, he should not. I think, yeah, I'm cool with it. I think that's. I really don't know what to say. I honestly thought they were gonna get like a person of like. I thought they were gonna get a black person to play James Bond now. So I'm kind of stunned that they're doing it again. I mean, it's cool, but it's just yeah, I buy it.
As soon as I show the picture, I buy it. I buy it.
Yeah, I buy it.
He buys the fan art.
I buy the fan art. Fan art can sway me pretty hard. So yeah, I buy it.
Yeah, it's not buy or sell yet, though, Guy. We're gonna have to wait. Keep that cash in your pocket. Just keep it, save it for a rainy day. I'm cool with it. Again, I don't really care as long as it's a good actor in the role, paired with a good director, a good producing team, a good supporting cast, a good story. I don't really care as much. I'm not really as much into the fan casting or anything. I just want it to be a good movie, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's a good actor. So what else can you ask for? As we move on to our next topic, the trailer for the new Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult comedy Reinfeld has dropped. Agnolo, I'm going to go to you first. What are your thoughts on this trailer?
I thought the trailer was awesome. I thought it was like really funny. I like Nicolas Cage looks insane, and I think that's the kind of role that really fits his persona. So I think this movie can be a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting it to be so much like this action, kind of reminded me of things like John Wick and stuff like that in terms of the action. I didn't know that was the way. I thought it would be more of a comedy and less of this kind of action movie. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I think the acting talent there is great. Since About a Boy, like we've been seeing a lot of growth, and I just forgot his name now.
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult. Like for people that don't know, he was my main pick for being Batman when he was in the run with Pattinson. I just think he's like he is a really good actor, and he can have a lot of like different layers to his characters, and I think he's a great pick for this. And the comedy for me was just hilarious. That thing of like the support group was just like the toxic relationship. It was just very, very clever. I think it's one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time, because I didn't know a lot about the movie, and now I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm not huge on Dracula. I've mentioned this before. I'm not huge on Dracula. He's actually probably one of my least favorite fictional like literary characters that we've seen on the big screen. I just don't like any incarnation, going back from Nosferatu to all the way to Dracula Untold. So I wasn't really too excited for this, other than Nicolas Cage, but I really loved the way the trailer looked, kind of a different take on it, a modern take. And I think Nicolas Cage is the perfect guy to play this role. Kind of since Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, I think Cage is kind of even more playing into the kind of quote unquote memeable elements of his career that people how people perceive him and stuff like that. And I think this is kind of a perfect role to kind of pair alongside with Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Also, Aquafina, who I'm not usually a fan of. I thought in the trailer she was really funny. Yeah. She had one line in there that I really liked. And then Ben Schwartz, who is he's great in Parks and Rec. He's obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, but that's just a voice. But I really like him. So good cast. Chris McKay, Lego Batman movie. That's good. Tomorrow War. Some good stuff in there. Guy, I'm gonna go to you.
I did not see the trailer, but
that's a shame.
I saw those photos you put up, and those look cool. Yeah. Why is he called Reinfeld? Is that like Vampire Seinfeld? Like, what is this? Like,
he's the guy. He's like the guy that helps him out. He's the guy that like moves the castings, like the coffins and stuff. So he's like Igor for
Frankenstein, but it's for Dracula.
Yeah, so he's the guy that helps him out. So because he can do all these things.
Okay, cool. Because like I was really confused. Why is it called Reinfeld? Like I didn't understand that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. His teeth look cool, for a vampire, all sharp. So
amazing input.
Yeah.
And about the news of Nicolas Cage that you don't have there, he announced that Face Off 2 is being made.
Yes. I know there are rumors before.
Go back to the Fancast match, season 1.
No, but now it's official. It was it was official. It came out like a day ago, so it's officially. And Nicolas Cage already gave kind of a plot and stuff for the movie.
What is it?
So I didn't read the plot. I just saw that he talked about.
And Travolta's coming back.
Maybe instead of Travolta, it's Idris Elba, and then that'd be be interesting.
I get it.
Let's see if I see here what he says.
All right.
Bad joke.
So. Why? Yeah, it was not very good.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I'm sorry.
We're gonna move on now to our next big topic of the day. Dave Bautista relieved as Drax's role in Guardians of the Galaxy ends. Dave Bautista made some comments about the role of Drax and the fact that him breaking the news. I mean, I think we already obviously the news was already out that this was going to be the last we saw of the Guardians in Guardians 3, which is coming up this year. But now he's confirmed that he won't be returning to the MCU. And he said, quote, it wasn't all pleasant. It was hard playing that role. However, he's also said, and I just don't know if I want Drax to be my legacy. It's a silly performance, and I want to do more dramatic stuff. Now, I'm going to go first, and I feel like it's not really huge news for me. This is in line with previous stuff that Dave Bautista has said about movies in general and about the acting world in general. Like he's said in the past that he doesn't like the Fast and Furious movies. He said in the past that, again, he likes to do more serious stuff. He's viewed by, like Ryan Johnson said a week or two ago, that Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor. And this isn't really too much news for me, although it does get me excited, though, that Bautista is going to be delving more into some serious dramatic work, like he was really good in Blade Runner 2049. People still talk about that maybe being his best role, and Knock at the Cabin as well. So I'm really excited about this. Guys, what's your input?
I actually, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you remember when James Gunn was going through all that firing crap, Bautista was kind of the only, I mean, out of all of them, he was the guy who was really vouching for him the hardest and going after Disney the most. And so this is not at all surprising that this would be his last time with the Guardians of the Galaxy, because he was really, wait, what? Yeah, he was really I remember he was really going off on Disney. So this is not a shock by any means. I just saw Glass Onion. I thought he was good as the character that I think is based kind of on Joe Rogan. I thought he was really good in that, and I like him as an actor. I think he's great. But I mean, this is not surprising. This is that he's relieved. I mean, he was done with Disney. So yeah.
Agnolo?
No, yeah, like you guys said, it's not a big surprise. I just don't like very much when actors have these roles that kind of help them establish their place in the industry, and they kind of come and kind of make him look like it's all important. Drax was the first time, whatever people wanted or not, was the
Yeah.
first time that people kind of noticed that there was something there, that he wasn't
That's
just like
true.
this big guy. And then coming and saying, oh, I'm relieved, it's just a silly character and stuff. I don't think there's the need. Sometimes I don't think there's the need. It's kind of like shitting on your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like there's no need to do that. Just be classy and say, look, it was a lovely time that I had here. Drax made me have all these opportunities, and now I want to be doing something a little bit more serious. For me, that would have worked better than just kind of like downplaying how important this character was for a lot of people. Because and that's my only issue with this. I completely understand what he wants to say, but sometimes like people on an interview just put things in a wrong way. And I think he's grateful for the chance he got here. That's why also he stand up for Gunn at the time, because he knew this was what gave him the opportunity. But the way he said it, it kind of felt like he was like shitting a bit on the opportunity, on the character. But yeah, it's people's like choices, and I do like him as an actor. I think not always, like even in Drax, there's like I'm not a big fan of the Christmas special. The performance of him on the Christmas special, I thought it went a little bit too silly. But I think he is a good actor, and that trailer of the new Night Shyamalan, I'm interested in seeing what he does there, because he does show a little bit of like more of a range. Because in Blade Runner, I think he was great, but come on, that was such a short role that I find it amazing that people are still talking about it. It's like it was so short, you can't really see if he has the range to do more. So I think he still has to prove, if he wants to do dramatic, he has to prove more.
That's true. Guy?
Yeah. No, I agree with everything he says. Like he does, I never really thought about the fact that you're right. Drax was really his first big role. That was the role that elevated his acting career. So the interview doesn't exactly look the best, but I mean, I think he's got a lot more to come, and I'm excited to see it.
Of course, as we get now to the next big topic, this one I think I'm going to take the reins on. So 1899 was surprisingly canceled over the week. 1899 was a hit series from Netflix, despite semi-mixed reviews. It was the same creators as Dark, which is a very revered Netflix show, which was a bit more revered than 1899. That got a couple seasons compared to 1899's one season. However, it still got relatively good viewership, and that led to a very surprise cancellation by Netflix. And what I wanted to get to was that obviously, I don't think Guy hasn't seen Agnolo. Did you get a chance to see 1899, or have you seen Dark?
Yeah, I saw Dark, and because like the place I work for, we did some of like the marketing things for 1899. So I kind of saw a couple of things before it came out, and then I saw the first episodes, and I didn't saw the rest yet.
Okay, great. So for me, and this is where it frustrates me a bit, because obviously people are getting more and more frustrated day by day, it seems, with Netflix's cancellations of original shows that people seem to like.
Yeah.
And then kind of their continuation with series like Stranger Things, which is very good. Don't blame them for that. But, getting 5+ seasons, stuff like that. But my problem with this, and the main problem I have with this, you can kind of see it over here, was that 1899 debuted 1 week before Wednesday, all right, which is the biggest series that Netflix has ever had, like the biggest, and it, we all heard the buzz. It was palpable. Everybody watched Wednesday. It, from critics, from audiences, it made Jenna Ortega a huge, pop culture name. People are saying that 2022 was her year. In 1899. Wait,
what about Stuck in the Middle? What about Stuck in the Middle on Disney XD? She was great in that. That was a classic. That was a classic show. That's how she was recognized in my household.
I unfortunately didn't get the pleasure.
Well, that's
I know
unfortunate.
We talked a bit about Josh Peck last episode in Oppenheimer, and that was my childhood hero.
Yeah, well, Stuck in the Middle.
And maybe if Miranda Cosgrove gets an upcoming role in a movie or show, I'll be on board. I unfortunately did not have the pleasure of watching what's it called?
Stuck in the middle.
Stuck in the middle.
Oh,
But yeah,
no.
my big problem with this is the fact that it debuted 1 week before Wednesday did, and it was canceled despite getting good audience reactions. Not as good as Dark, but still viewership was very good on it. So I know I'm gonna go to you. I mean, it's a bit tough from you just simply based on the fact that you only watched one episode. You didn't get to watch the entire series, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, but I have a lot to say on this, and I'll go on the rant, so I'll keep it simple. Like, people keep complaining. I just wish I could put people like in charge of these studios, and if this was their own money. In the end of the day, the show didn't do well, and they're like, we are saying now, oh, it came a week before Wednesday, and Wednesday was the biggest show. They had no clue Wednesday would be that big, and they had no clue that this show would flop like this, because like Dark was one of the most watched shows on Netflix, and the budget for Dark was like 10 times lower than this. So they put a lot of money on this and they made the show, and then people didn't saw it. Okay, when we say, oh, but there is still a lot of people watching it, it's in the end of the day, it's a question of numbers. They see how much each show costs, they see how much, and it's not even the people that watch it, it's the amount of new people that start having Netflix because they want to watch the show. That is the most important number that they look at. How many people like made an account to go and watch this show? And those numbers weren't there. And the only fault that this show is canceled is all of us that didn't watch it. There's 3 people here, and none of us watch it.
I watched it.
You watched it? Oh,
yeah,
okay. Sorry.
That's why I'm mad at it. That's why I'm so
mad.
I
thought you said you didn't watch it. Sorry.
All of us didn't watch it.
So, but this is the thing. Like, we can make a lot of excuses. Oh, Wednesday this and Wednesday that, and like, in the end of the day, like, what's the name of that one, the Korean one that broke all the records?
Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
Like, Squid Game, no one had a clue what it was. It came out on Netflix with no advertisement. People started watching, and people went nuts, and it became the most watched show on Netflix. So that is the thing. We can make a lot of excuses, but if people really wanted to see it, people would have seen it. And it's the same thing. Like, I just get angry like this because people keep on saying, like, oh, there's no original movies out there. Every time there's an original movie, people don't go and see it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Like I saw the other day, and I was completely amazed that Fableman just made $11 million in the box office, something like that.
And Babylon flopped even harder as well.
So that is it. And then I see all these content creators going like, oh, they should like keep doing this even if the viewers are not there. And then they are doing the same videos every day because that's the things that give them views. We're making lists, we're making things because we know that's what gives us views. So in the end of the day, it's very easy to complain about other people's money and say Netflix should keep putting money on this show. Like they do Stranger Things 5 seasons because people keep watching it. As soon as people stop watching it, they're not going to go, oh, no, let's keep doing Stranger Things. No, they'll stop. So this is our fault that we didn't saw this show. I didn't saw the show.
I didn't.
It's and the thing is, like, and to be honest, the problem with these shows is you get home tired from your day, school, work, whatever, and I don't feel like watching a show that's going to give me a headache every day. Because that's the thing. It's one of those shows that you have to be in the mood to watch. And that's why Friends and stuff like that keeps being the most watched things in Office. Because you can put it on, your brain turns off, and it's there, and you laugh, and it's whatever. And that's why you have to keep it a little bit more simple. And Dark was a surprise because, like, whoever watched Dark, it's Jesus Christ. Your brain is in a mess after you watch it. But the budget was so low that if the numbers weren't that high, it would still be a profitable thing. The numbers on this are really high, just in terms of marketing, because like I said, I was involved with the marketing. Just in terms of marketing, it was one of the most expensive shows to market because it's not easy to market. So there's a lot of stuff there, and people need to start thinking on the other side. These companies, in the end of the day, they are companies. They have to make money. If they keep betting on shows that don't make money, they're going to have to close down. And we saw a lot of like studios and stuff struggling. like everyone keeps saying how A24 is saving cinema and how amazing it is. So go and watch the goddamn movies, because every time a A24 movie passes $20 million, they probably pop up the champagne in the studio, because it's not often that it happens. And that is the thing. If you want to support these things, you need to make an effort. Look, even if you put it running and go and sleep, at least it's counting as a view for Netflix. Like, just put it running and go to sleep, and at least it's going to help them. But people didn't do it. And Wednesday, look at the amount of people watching it. That's that. So if they have to bet on a show, which show are they going to bet? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I will say I did my part. I put a review out on Instagram. That's I did. I'm one of the few. And one of the actors liked my post, so that's more than like what 99% of people. So
exactly.
I'll take.
I mean,
but yeah, I agree.
Netflix. I mean, it is pretty depressing. Like the way original content is kind of treated now, in comparison to the way it was treated like even 10 to 20 years ago. I mean, it's like I've seen the Fabelmans in the movie theater 2 times, and it's like I'm the only person. That's weird. I'm the only person in the entire theater, and it's where'd he go? Okay,
I have no idea. I clicked the wrong.
I was right confused. I was like, what?
I right-clicked and I right-clicked again, and it happened to be on the screen. Whatever.
Well,
just keep going.
No, I've seen like the Fabelmans twice, and I'm the only person in the theater. And they've been on, and this is the worst part. It's been on Saturday nights that I've seen it both times. On top of that, like,
and it's a Spielberg. Imagine if it wasn't.
Yeah,
a Spielberg.
It's arguably one of, like, the greatest directors of all time. And it's absolutely insane. Like, the lack of appreciation for original content. Yet all these people, they have they're like, we need this original content. And it's like, that while I'm the only person in the Fabelmans, there's like 50 people in Wakanda Forever, like, watching that, like, right now. I mean, and it's nuts. I mean, there is no appreciation for it. It's really depressing. Go buy a ticket to a movie theater. Like, actually do it, all right? Because you'll get a much better experience out of these movies. If you really have an appreciation for movies, go to the fucking theater. I saw Puss in Boots last night, and you know what? I'm sure I enjoyed it more there than I would when I see it on, like, Netflix in a couple months. Okay, so just go watch the fucking movie in the theater, because it's just really, if you really appreciate these things, then like, walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk.
Yeah, like I always give the example of Ad Astra. Ad Astra, like, it cost 90 million to make. It made 134 million worldwide. And it was like a completely original thing. He had Brad Pitt on it. He had a big budget. He had all this, and it's still so. If you are a studio, just like, how can they explain to their investors, to their like stock, like, how are they going to say, look, we're going to do this original movie, and the probability that it's going to fail is huge, but at least we're going to be making our part for cinema. And let's all be honest, if we were the owners of those companies, we wouldn't be like, oh yeah, come on, let's do it. Let's do it for cinema. No, we wouldn't, because in the end of the day, we need to keep the doors open. And original things are hard to sell.
One quick question before we move on to the next topic, because I just wanted to, I'm curious about this. I wanted to hear your thoughts. Do you think the success or lack of success from original content nowadays is seemingly random, or do you think there are kind of some key success that studios are doing? Like, for example, Everything Everywhere did very well at the box office, when a movie, like you said, like Ad Astra, for example, did not succeed. So do you think there's kind of some through lines within these successes and these failures that people are not seeing? Agnolo specifically, because I know he has some insight in this.
No, there's a couple of things. Like, if you have a Nolan movie, it's an original movie, it's going to make money. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, Nolan will make money even if he makes a movie about, I don't know, like paint drying on the wall. People will still go and see it, and if they don't like it, I think, and you're gonna take this as a joke now, but it's like, for me, Nolan is kind of the Woody Allen of many years ago. Whatever he did, it was good. No. What I mean with that is
completely different. I wouldn't.
Well,
No,
let's hear him out. Let's hear him
No,
out.
but what I mean with that is like whatever he does, if you go and see it and you don't like it, people straight away tell you, "Oh, you didn't understand." And this is what I felt when I watched. And this is what I felt when I watched a Woody Allen movie that I didn't like. People would say, "Oh, you didn't understand because he's a genius." And that's what I mean. There's some directors that like people just do not like say anything bad about what he does. If they don't like it, they just say, probably I didn't. The amount of people that I saw that saw Tenant and then they came out and say, did you like it? I didn't like it that much, but I need to see it 3 or 4 more times because I don't think I understood it. And that is the thing. And like when you say Everything Everywhere All at Once did well, it did 103 million worldwide. Okay. An action movie that has like multiverse thing that is really in fashion now because of the MCU. Great acting. It's all for the awards and stuff. Made $100 million worldwide. So that's not good box office. It is for a
no. It's good for the budget. It was very good.
But then you do a movie like Smile, or you do a movie like any horror movie that is a really low budget, lower than probably this was, and they make 10, like I don't know the budget of Barbarian, but Barbarian, for example, I think it was a lot lower in budget, and it probably like in terms of returns, like he made kind of the same. I don't know, but like things like that, horror movies like this. So when studios have to think, this could have been a big flop. I think it was one of the most expensive movies A24 made. And yeah, it gave returns, but I think there's a couple of things that help being original. I think like if you have a star there, it kind of helps. If you have a name that people recognize, I think if you have a story that people recognize, I think things inspiring true stories and stuff like that usually kind of make it work.
Yeah, I think it depends. For example, genre is very powerful. I don't think necessarily people go to the movies anymore for directors and actors like they used to do. Maybe if it's Tom Cruise, for example. But I argued the other day that he was the last movie star. But no, like there are certain directors, but for the most part, people don't know directors. People,
when you look at
an average person on the street won't know the name of 5 directors. So I think it's mostly just based on obviously word of mouth. We saw that. We're seeing that. We're going to see that soon with Avatar: Way of Water as the weeks go on. We saw it with the first Avatar. We saw it with Everything Everywhere All at Once, albeit on a smaller kind of smaller scale. But in my opinion, it is truly just based on just success within the confines of what it's trying to do. You know, Smile not trying to be the next, I don't know, Godfather, but it's succeeded within the confines of the genre in being an entertaining horror movie. So it really depends on just what you're trying to do.
I think more than a name of actors, what I've also been seeing is the name of the studios behind it. I think, for example, Blumhouse. Like, if people know it's a horror movie of Blumhouse, people will go and see it. I think there's more of a thing there because they go like from the studio behind Halloween, behind whatever. The same goes with A24. If it's an A24 movie, straight away people associate it as being, oh, it's going to be different. It's going to be good. I might not like it, but at least it's going to be an experience. So I think, for example, that's happening now with actors. I completely agree with you. There's Tom Cruise and there's no one else. And we saw this, like Margot Robbie, she did Birds of Prey, it flopped. So like all the actors have these big movies and they kind of flop. Tom Cruise is probably the only one because again, I think it has to do with people knowing that he will not do something unless he really thinks he's good. And I think that's probably the thing behind it, is having these directors, having this, like Nolan, again, like it or not, you know that he's going to create something unique that he really believes on. He's probably not going to just do a movie because people give him a lot of money. And I think that Tarantino is another one. So I think it has to do with the persona more than just who they are in terms of the movies they make. I think people appreciate that they put that effort and they really do what they like. And I think that's something a lot of actors today don't do. They just go into any movie that pays them well, and then like people don't go and see the movie because they know, oh, you probably got a lot of money to do this. It doesn't mean that it's going to be any good. And I think that's the big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we're now going to move on now. That was a big spiel. Funny to think that that topic originally originated from 1899, which is a show that literally nobody watches.
This is the most time people talked about that show in any podcast or anything.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on now to buy or sell, and we're going to talk about a bunch of the smaller topics that occurred within the world of movies, TV, all that jazz. We're going to talk about if you would buy that news or sell that news. Guy, your pockets are basically bursting at this point. You wanted to buy stuff over the course of the rest of the show.
Yeah. I got a lot of money. I'm ready.
Got a lot of money. Agnolo, how much cash did you bring you? Some cash, credit card? What's their status?
I don't know. From the things you said we're going to talk about, I don't think I'm going to need a lot of money.
He's going to buy it on sale for November. All right. We're going to move to our first topic. Guy, I'll let you go first. Stephen Amell will return for the final season of The Flash. Buy or sell?
What? He's dead. No, what the fuck? I don't. I mean, it's like, I guess I buy that would happen, but I mean, I just don't. I stopped watching those shows a couple of years ago.
Are you gonna watch the Flash final season just based on the fact that it's the final season, or?
I don't know. I watched Arrow based on it being the final season, and I like doing that, but I just feel like specifically with the Flash, I mean, that lasted longer than Arrow, and it's just. I stopped after the end of season 5. I just quit. It's just too much. It's just awful. You know, the CGI, like there's such low budget and it's just so hard to look at that I really sell.
So sell?
I'm not going to watch it. I don't think I'm going to watch it.
They have to
really do something very cool.
I'm going to sell as well, just purely based on the fact that I don't watch the show. So
yeah, you only watched Crisis. That was the only thing you've watched. The entire Arrowverse was Crisis.
I mean, it would go for any. I have nothing. Well, I do have stuff against CW, but that's just purely based on a quality standpoint. But yeah, I'll sell this. And Yolo?
Yeah, I would absolutely sell. Who the hell cares is coming
back?
Yeah, that's the thing. I watched Arrow in the beginning. I watched Flash in the beginning. I loved Flash in the beginning.
Flash in the beginning was good.
And then it was like every time they had to do a new season, someone just did a copy paste.
Yeah, that was a new speedster.
Like, it was always the same plot, like always the same thing. And to be honest, I don't watch it for the last 2 or 3 years.
Same.
And I don't think anyone is going to be like, oh my God, he's coming back. It's like...
I think that fan base died too.
I think most people will be surprised that this show is still going on.
It's crazy, but at one point in time, like the CW shows,
there was a point where those shows...
No, it was great. No,
his biggest
was
thing.
good.
And there was a time where everyone would watch them. That was the channel.
That was the good DC stuff coming out.
And that's actually a good example of no original content whatsoever. Because even Riverdale, that's based on Archie Comics, like there's no original content on that channel. I mean, it was at one point a really big thing, and then it sat and added more shitty TV shows, and it just kind of it was like like the Hindenburg. It just kind of was burning and crashed, and it's awful.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on now to the next topic. The first poster for the new Ari Aster film, Beau is Afraid, has dropped. Of course, Ari Aster, the director of Midsommar and Hereditary, 2 beloved horror movies from the 2010s. It also stars Joaquin Phoenix in the role. Agnolo, just purely based on the poster, purely based on what you've heard about the film, are you buying or selling?
I'm just buying because he's Ari Aster. I met him in Portugal. I had a conversation with him, and I'm a big fan of Midsommar. I'm one of the few that thinks Midsommar is way better than Hereditary. But I think this guy has something different to bring every time he makes movies. If you talk with him, he is not one of those that just wants to put movies out. This is a story that probably had something interesting that he wanted to say. So I'm completely buying this just because of him. I think the poster is horrible. I think the poster, like if I saw that poster, didn't know what it was, I would not care. It just looks like a really weird
bunch of faces of Phoenix.
Like, I don't know, but because if it's him, I'm completely on board to see what he's gonna do.
Guy,
I I look at that post. I'm so confused by the post. What annoys the hell out of me is people like see one of these and they'll be like, "I'm so ready." Like those Instagram cinephile accounts because it's like Joaquin Phoenix, and they get all excited. They're like, "Oh my god," because they saw Joker and nothing else that he did. And so I mean, I don't really care. I haven't. I here's the thing. I need to see Midsummer. Uh, that's my bad, but I just don't. I look at this and I'm like, why should I give a shit? Like I like Joaquin Phoenix, but like I don't know. This is weird. It's a weird poster.
It's tough for me. I'm gonna buy it. Hopefully, or I'm gonna wait to
Both
buy
make
it.
me look like a dick.
I'm gonna wait to buy it for like a lower price. I'm not huge on Midsommar. I think it's good, and I think Hereditary is good as well. I'm not in love with those, so but I love Joaquin Phoenix, so I'm gonna wait to buy it at a cheaper price later on. As we move on to the next topic, rumors are that Warner Brothers is developing a reboot of Harry Potter.
Fuck that.
It's rumors, not confirmed, but I will say
sell.
I'll confirm it. I'll confirm it for you. It's obvious they're gonna they need the money. They have nothing else. Of course they're gonna reboot Harry Potter.
Discovery when Amazon or when the Tolkien family was trying to sell Lord of the Rings, rumors were that Discovery offered them. The Tolkien family was basically asking these studios to pitch them ideas for what they were going to do with the property once they got the rights to it. And Warner Brothers Discovery pitched a remake of the original trilogy. So it doesn't surprise me. Even these rumors for Harry Potter have gone back for a long time. So I'm sorry, Agnolo, you can continue.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's not surprising for me. We all know they're bleeding money. We all know that they need to get those things on. We all know that everything they tried of Harry Potter didn't work. All the movies that came after did not work because people don't really care about anything except Harry Potter and the rest of the original crew. So I'm not surprised. Do I want to watch it? I'm not even a big fan of the originals. I think especially the first. I like a few that are a bit darker, but then I will keep on saying I don't know why this is called Harry Potter because he doesn't know how to do the shit. It's always Hermione that saves his ass. So so I'll sell it because I don't even care.
All right, let me. I love the original Harry Potter movie.
Me too.
I honestly think it's like a perfect movie.
Alex looks like Harry Potter. That's why you
I do not look like Harry Potter at all. I'm just a white guy.
All right. Let me do my little rant because you ran on with your fucking whatever that was for a minute. Okay. No, don't do that. And I agree with Agnolo. It's not. I would not be surprised if they would do it because you're right. Warner Brothers right now is in the shitter. All right, they're not. They're literally canceling movies that they've entirely filmed just for a tax write-off. They're really trying to make some money wherever they can get it. And I honestly feel like that franchise means a lot to me. That's really one of my favorite movie franchises, specifically the original Harry Potter movies. All of those, I think they're all great. And I think there is no point of doing it. You can't do any better than those.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
I understand the point of remaking them. You could do a lot more when it comes to spin-offs.
They're all great.
So much. Star Wars, for example, you could make a Mandalorian. It's the only thing they know what to do with the property is.
Yeah, but the question here is they even not being the biggest fan, they hit the jackpot with the casting on the originals.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be that lucky again a second time.
Well, that's why
I
just understand. Also, what do you change? Well, how would you do it within a different take? What director would kind of make what would be different about it?
I think there would be
go more magical. No, we got that.
I think it would be clever for them to do the sequel because there's a book I know that is when Harry is older.
The Cursed Child, but
the Cursed Child. So I think that would be clever. But from what I see, J.K. Rowling doesn't want to give them the rights to do the Cursed Child. I think that's the only problem. I think that's why they're
didn't know
looking into
that.
remaking it. Yeah,
Mhm.
like the news was that she wants to do a theater show.
Yeah, she did
of
that Broadway show.
Yeah,
I
she wants to
remember hearing
do, and
about
she
it,
doesn't want to. She doesn't want it to be turned into a movie.
which I think is so bizarre that you would want. Like, this is, you also have to keep in mind that movie franchise is like one of the most successful movie franchises. Like long running. You know that people are renting it still. People are like, I mean, it is. Why wouldn't you bring that cast back? Is just so bizarre to me.
Yeah, but the question is, do they want to come back? That's the other thing. Like,
Well, they did that whole reunion thing on HBO Max. Like, I mean, if you're willing to do that shit, I'm sure you're willing to do like one more. Like, just
if
But
they
that's a
can
big
bring
if.
the original
that's a
cast,
big if.
Like,
But
if they can bring the original cast, and if she sells the rights, I think the Cursed Child would
But-
be their best
Yeah,
play.
but honestly, I just don't care what they do as long as it's not remaking this. So I'm selling this because
don't remake
I
it.
would
Don't
like this
remake
would be
it.
the worst. No.
You all
and-
saying this, but then
yeah.
you'd be in the cinema watching.
I'm sorry.
That's the
I'm sorry.
problem.
I know you're in your
Because we
life.
watch everything. Because we
All right,
watch
I
everything.
know.
Yeah, but that's
I
the
mean, no
problem.
offense to you.
That's Warner
We're
Brothers
different.
knows.
We're different.
Warner
Let me
Brothers
just-
knows.
No,
Everyone
we're
complaining you
different.
watch it.
I would say we're very
But-
different from.
but
I think
I know,
other
you have to understand.
people, like we're completionists, right? We have to watch this stuff. There
Yeah.
are other people who are maybe fans of Harry Potter, but won't care enough to go outside. Like we feel as if when there's a big movie that comes out, it's even if we're not interested. Like you think I want to see Black Adam or Morbius in the theaters? No, I didn't want to. I did it. You know why? Because I had to. And a lot of people like us have to. A lot of people who are
Right.
fans of this property won't go because
But it's also,
they don't have that. They don't have that same incentive.
And the other thing is, like, me and Alex, like, I mean, you're like,
This would
I don't
fail,
know,
I think.
48 or something. Me and Alex are like, no offense. Me and Alex are like,
That was
we're
a generous age.
43. I'm
Alex-
43.
Alex is 21. I'm 19. All right,
13.
we grew up. We literally, this was the franchise we grew up in. Like, specifically, this means a lot to us. So, like, that's why I think I would not reboot it. It's also too fresh of a franchise.
That's
to
true.
Look,
reboot.
I agree with you, and I think people don't want it to be rebooted.
yeah.
But if it is rebooted,
It will
people
not do
will
well.
be in the cinemas.
No, but that's
and
the thing.
watching
If
it.
people don't want it, they can do a lot more with this property to earn more money to make a better movie overall. If they just do something else with the property, a prequel, something.
They did a prequel. They did some.
No,
prequels.
but that had a lot of problems with it.
I'm sure if they had Johnny Depp.
I'm talking about like
that last
original
one, they would've
content.
done it.
Fantastic Beasts was already based on Rowling's work. I'm talking about original content.
Oh yeah. Do you
Like
think,
Fantastic Beasts failed. But I
That's
think again, if they try again with fresh characters, I think there's success there. Like to say there's nothing with that IP that would be successful other than the main kind of core movies, I think that's a bit drastic to say.
Yeah, but look at things like Star Wars. Like we keep saying that, but every time they make a movie about the original storyline, it makes a lot of money. Every time they try and make something
No.
else.
But it's also a new movie, right? It's not like they're
Yeah.
remaking the old movies.
Oh no. Yeah, I agree
They
with
would never
you. Like
remake any of
it
the
has to be
original trilogy.
something that's more connected. I think the problem with Fantastic Beasts is it wasn't connected enough for people to care. And it wasn't interesting enough to
It wasn't
work as an
interesting enough. I'll
original
give you
thing.
that
It
one.
was
Like I don't.
interesting, but
it
it
was
was
the interesting part.
connected. Dumbledore.
I thought the connection wasn't the problem. It just wasn't. They weren't good movies.
No, it wasn't at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on now to our next topic.
I'll sell that.
News has dropped recently on Stan Lee's 100th birthday that a documentary will drop about him on Disney Plus in 2023. I think we're all gonna buy this. I think I'm gonna buy it a bit. No disrespect to Stanley. I'm just not as big of a comics guy as you guys are, but I'll buy it just at a lower price.
I'm gonna buy it. I think the Stanley story is a really fascinating one. I've read a couple books about Stanley, and I think it really. I mean, that is a guy who I think would be. It would be very if they're honest about it though, because there's a lot of stuff that they may not bring up to kind of keep cover for Marvel. Like, but if they really go full in and about all the disputes with Jack Kirby and all the other creators, and really are like full, they show the full truth of the greatness of Stanley, and then also the certain things that weren't so great about him.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
It. All right. Well, you know what? I hope they do. I
They're
think
not gonna
it
do
would
that.
make a really good documentary. I think it would make a very interesting documentary.
So you think Disney Plus is gonna make a documentary shitting a little bit on themselves? They're not gonna do that. It's gonna be all about the great stuff.
I know, but
We're all gonna buy this.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I know, like my only thing is I think I pretty know all his story. I don't think there's gonna be anything new that's really gonna surprise me.
Yeah.
If Disney is watching this, I have a great idea to do a movie about Stan Lee's life. I've been like, I have this idea for ages, and I think a movie.
Oh, that's them. You saw the text. That was him. That was
no,
Disney
but a
right
movie
now.
about his life, a movie about his life mixed with a little bit of fantasy, a bit like what they did, a little bit what they did this year with. What's the name of the guy with the accordion?
Oh, Weird Al.
Weird Al.
So, like, he meets people in his life, and it's Chris Evans, and he gets the inspiration for Captain America from Chris Evans.
He didn't write. Wait, hold up. He did not create Captain America.
No, like,
Jack
come
Kirby
on.
and Joe Simon created Captain America.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit.
In the end of the day,
give the right creators credit. That's my
like. Okay, so he was with Jack Kirby, and he got the inspiration. Anyway, like Spider-Man and stuff.
That's not true. You guys,
but I think it would be more interested.
To the 4 people listening right now, I just want to clarify: Stan Lee did not create Captain America. Mr. Big J, does not know what he's talking about. All right, it was Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, and at that point, Stan Lee wasn't even working for that publication company. So do not spread these lies, these fables. Okay?
Oh my God. In the end of the day, he made these characters what they are today. No matter what you say. Like, look, you can be in your room drawing a little superhero for years, and then if I make it like being this thing that everyone in the world sees it, I'm gonna have a part of it. So just see the movie of the founder with McDonald's, and then we'll discuss who created McDonald's.
Yeah, and he doesn't look very good either. He doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how it is. But anyway, I would be more excited if it was something a little bit more original that would give me something different, because there's already a lot of documentaries on YouTube everywhere. So, and they're not gonna show the dark bits that no one knows. They're not gonna do that. So,
all right.
So yeah, I will buy it.
I sit whenever I do this podcast, I actually sit on a Stanley pillow.
So Stanley's eating your ass every day.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
That's why he's so angry with him.
Tossing my salad. Stanley is tossing my salad at the moment while I talk to you.
All right. We're gonna move on now. Evil Dead Rise.
Wait. He just bit me because I mentioned Jack Kirby. All right, so keep going.
Evil Dead Rise. The trailer has dropped. Agnolo, buy or sell?
Well, so I'm a huge fan of the originals, and yeah, the trailer is good for a horror movie. There's a lot of scenes there that made me look away, with like the scraper thing in the leg and stuff. There's a lot of gore, and yeah, Evil Dead has that. But for me, I think he's missing a bit of what makes Evil Dead so great. I think, like, the characterization of the mother, that's kind of like a jokey thing. When we got that in Evil Dead, it was further along when the movies became a little bit more of a comedy. I don't know. From the trailer, I'm not convinced yet, because I want to see how they're going to mix the comedy and the more silly things with the horror, because at parts of the trailer, it looks like they want to be very serious horror. On other parts, they look like it's a comedy thing. So I'm still not 100% convinced, because that franchise for me is something very beloved. So I don't want it to mess him up.
Like Harry Potter for us.
It's like Harry Potter for you guys. It's the same story. But I like, the trailer is good, but because it has the Evil Dead name on it, I'm still a bit on the fence to see how it goes.
I'm gonna sell this. I don't love the Evil Dead movies like a lot of people like you do. It just kind of look too much like generic horror for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the woman crawling. Like, what's up with horror movies nowadays where you have to see like a woman like with the arms? I don't know, their arms like all the way to their legs, and their legs are twisting in a different direction, and blah blah blah. It's so hopefully, obviously, this image woman with the chainsaw. That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. So and you saw a lot of blood. What is it, like a door full of blood? So, as long as as long as it's self-aware and it knows what it is, it's not trying to be something like we talked about M3GAN. So we're gonna move on now to our last topic. The full trailer for You People, starring Jonah Hill, Eddie Murphy, has dropped. This is the last topic we're gonna talk about. So hopefully you guys left some money left in your pockets. Guy,
I'm gonna buy
yourself.
I'm gonna buy. I actually really enjoyed this trailer.
Shocker.
I really loved it. I'm Eddie Murphy. The fact that he started coming back into movies since he did Dolomite a couple years ago, he's starting to make somewhat of a comeback. Really excites me. I'm glad he's doing movies again. I'm also really hoping he returns to doing stand-up again. And then on top of that,
Jesus.
on top, it's just a great cast: David Duchovny, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jonah Hill. I mean, it's just once again Eddie fucking Murphy. I'm really excited for this movie. I also just found the trailer to be hilarious. I think it's going to be a really interesting comedy, especially with what's been going on recently. I think it's really something that would be. It's what movies are for, and it's kind of to address like a sensitive subject, which I think is really more essential now than ever. So yeah, I'm gonna buy.
It looks cute. I don't think it looks. I don't think it's gonna. No, I don't think it's gonna be like the next big comedy of 2020.
No, I don't think so.
But I love Eddie Murphy. You're right. I thought he was great in Dolomite. I really enjoy him, kind of his past work, and I can't wait to see more. I wish he would do more. Actually, 2 movies a year. So I'm excited for this purely just based off of him. I like Jonah Hill. Looks like he's going back to the comedy genre after a few stints in kind of drama. Really he had that documentary that came out, so he's had kind of some troubles for him recently. So I'm gonna buy this. It looks fun. It looks cute. Just hope I don't think I'm gonna go into it expecting the next, I don't know, Everything Everywhere All at Once, for example. That was comedy that broke. But I'm excited. I'll buy it.
Well, so I'm gonna sell it because look, the track record of Netflix and comedies is not good. Like they're all horrible, and this is the first. This is like the first time this guy directs a movie, and I like having a comedy on Netflix for a first-time director. It doesn't give me good vibes. I love Jonah Hill and I love Eddie Murphy, but the thing is, the last comedies that came out on Netflix, all of them, it's just doesn't give me any confidence.
So the director did do Blackish, so
it did a couple of episodes on TV.
It's written by the 2 stars Jonah Hill and Kenya Barris. So
yeah, that's what gives me a little bit of hope, because Jonah Hill, I think Jonah Hill, especially on the movies he directed and he wrote and stuff, I think he is good, and I think he's really funny. The trailer just didn't give me anything that's very different. I think it's that story of
I guess who's coming to dinner, basically.
Yeah, I think that was kind of story we've seen before. But being Netflix and being something that's like a first-time director. But the thing is, this first-time director, his next movie is gonna be The Wizard of Oz. It's I was seeing here. So people are trusting him. But then if you see things that he wrote, I was seeing here, The Witches, Coming to America 2, Cheaper by the Dozen, the remake, all those, none of them are great. And I know he didn't direct it, he wrote it, but he shows a little bit of his sensibility towards the comedy, what he thinks is funny. So I don't know. Because it's on Netflix, I'll watch it, but not excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, guys, there something you want to say before we end it?
No, I mean, I think that I'm very hopeful about this one just from the cast. I mean, it's a really good cast, and it does really excite me. And I agree. Coming to America 2 is not a good movie. I think though that I think that this isn't a sequel. I like when Eddie Murphy's been doing just new stuff, like Dolomite. So I'm pretty hopeful about this one.
All right, so that's gonna do it, guys, for this episode of Guy and Helmer Unfiltered. Before we end it, Big J, where can everyone find you?
You can find us on Instagram, on YOLO Movies blog. We're also on Letterboxd and stuff, but Instagram is where we spend most of our times, and you can check our content there for me and my daughter.
For sure. And Guy, you as well. Where can everyone find
Find
you?
me at Guy David Knoll Comedy on Instagram. I think you can find me at like @_Lego Figs on Letterboxd. You can. I think that's all I'm going to give you guys today. You guys can figure out whatever else I have.
Every episode, there's a different piece to the puzzle. Like next week, you'll be like, oh,
next week you'll find out
your phone number, your home address,
my social security number. Next week you'll get my social security number, and then the following week you'll get my weight and height. So, great.
Yeah, and you can see him doing stand-up comedy in the afternoons.
They don't get it. They weren't on that call. No one understands that but you.
You do. That makes me happy enough.
You know what? They can find you at your barber. Never. How about that?
All right, guys. You can find me on Alex Helmer on Letterboxd. That's my username on Letterboxd. Alex Helmer. League of Cinephiles on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, like I mentioned. Subscribe to the channel. Everyone will be back to you next week for some awesome movie news, analysis, all that stuff. Thank you, Anyola, for joining us. Thank you for guys, always, for everyone at the League of Cinephiles. Ciao, everyone.
Ciao. It's over.